Welcome back, everybody, and an almost Merry Christmas to you, Sons of Montezuma. We are back on air and we are live. It is a Monday, Victory Monday. The Aztecs win today, and we're going to talk all about that and much more, of course. Before you guys do anything, hit that like and subscribe button. And we want to make sure that we get everybody's questions, comments, and all that good stuff. Only on YouTube here. Guys, want to thank you for joining the stream. Of course, it is Mateo.
I'm an Aztec warrior.
Aztec warrior. Mike, what's going on? Good to see you. Good to see you. Sorry we couldn't see you this past weekend, but it's good to have you in the pod, man.
Yeah, last one for a while for me, so let's make it nice.
Make it nice. Make it very efficient and succinct. Fiend! I like to play that just a little bit. Guys, it's good to see you guys. We're all 2/3 of us are back from Phoenix, Arizona. I don't know if any of us made the actual Whittier game today. Not sure if any of us did. Thank you guys for watching the stream. We actually had that live broadcasting, the official stream here on Sons of Montezuma's YouTube channel. So that was a beatdown as expected, right? But the Aztecs, it is the end of the out of conference season officially today. The Aztecs are, well, they're 7-4 overall, right, guys? And they already have one Mountain West game under their belt, a victory against Air Force last week, but technically this was the final out of conference game. So they are out of the out of conference games, and if you guys see the thumbnail, they're out of chances, guys. They're out of chances. Those chances that this Aztec program had to really improve their resume before heading into the final Mountain West season, those chances are done. We were there, me and Fiend. They're in Phoenix to see the Aztecs fall to the #1 team in the nation, the Arizona Wildcats. And, man, we had ourselves an experience. I want to get into that game, of course, but also just talk about the whole beginning of the season as a whole, guys. I mean, you know, we watch every game. We go to as many games as possible. We're there following the team, recording these episodes. And, you know, a lot was made of this season and the offseason coming into it, of course. You know, we cover the offseason, Swish League, get to see a lot of the players, a lot of the new additions. So let's talk a little bit about that just really quick. One word to describe this out-of-conference season before we get into Mountain West play. Mike, what would that one word be for you?
Turbulent.
Good word. Turbulent. Why do you say turbulent?
Well, the expectations of this team having all this, you know, experience and athleticism and everything coming back, you know, you start hot and then you have that crazy game against Troy and you lose that. I mean, I feel like if that Troy game is going to be a craw in our whatever for the rest of the season. You know, I mean, it was an amazing game. I mean, take it for what it was, but Michigan's a monster. Arizona's a monster. You played the two best teams in the country this year,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I agree.
And you got to see the Michigan game was just a full throttle beatdown, which they beat everybody down that thing. The Arizona game, the good of it was we held them to 68 points, lower than a lot of the teams, right? They still won by 20. They didn't shoot that great, but we shot terrible. It might have been one of the worst shooting games ever, honestly, for San Diego State in terms of that metric or whatever. I was reading in Ziegler's article. But the good is you played good defense. You hung with them in the first half, and then they just kind of went crazy hitting threes in the second half, and they've pulled away, and the offensive rebounds were just too much. But like
turbulent.
Yeah,
I mean, as far as the whole,
it's just not consistent, like up and down. You know, like you play well and you shoot lights out against Oregon, and then you can't shoot against Arizona. There's no consistency. Yeah. I guess maybe a backup would be inconsistent.
Yeah.
Because you see what could be on the left and what could be on the right, and you know, hopefully it's in the middle as we get going through the season. But like, wow, man, like with all the expectations and all the stuff coming in, 7-4 seems like disappointing in a way to a
Okay.
lot of
All
people. I
right.
think.
Okay. All right. I like that. I like that. He gives some good reasons for that word turbulence. Now we flew there to Phoenix, man, and coming back on the plane, Fiend, had a little turbulence on that
Sure
homeward
did.
stretch when we got into the desert, flying over the desert. And I'm a vet of flying on planes now, but I've even skydived once, right? So you would think, all right, you got that fear out of your way, but a little turbulence always gets my heart racing just a little bit, dude. What's one word for you, man? This out of conference season up to this point.
I would say frustration is probably the word that I would go with. It's just been really frustrating to watch because we know that this team has a lot of potential, kind of like we experienced honestly back in 2022-23 season. Beginning of the season, right when we lost to. Um, we got blown out by Arizona, I think, in the Maui Classic, right? And then we had that mishap against Arkansas
Arkansas.
game, and then we played very uninspired ball against St. Mary's, in Phoenix. And so that was a very frustrating non-conference, right? And so this was equally frustrating because we have a lot of talent. There were a lot of expectations on this team. I don't think this is a Final Four team, um, but I think that this team has the potential to be a Sweet 16 team if they went on a run. But we're not even sure if we're even going to get to the tournament now. We have to run through the Mountain West, which is a very tough place to play with a bunch of landmines. We did not take care of business, and then and out of conference, and then losing to Troy is a resume killer, right? So yeah, frustrated at this point, and maybe my frustration is more with the first unit, and what Dutch is doing. We'll get into that, but I think some of the decisions that he's made to play guys who are not producing is just really frustrating.
Yeah, we definitely got some more insight into that. We talk obviously aside from the show, and so I think there's some good points that we can get into that. But I'd probably say my one word is ma- boy, I don't want to say overhyped. Overhyped. I mean, and it's tough to say that, right? Because yeah, we all had the expectations coming into this year. Couple seasons ago, like you said, Fiend, that we were all there in Phoenix. I remember that very distinctly, losing to St. Mary's, and we are so frustrated knowing that this team had so much more potential. They shouldn't be losing to St. Mary's, like this team is stacked, it's loaded. And they turned it around, Final Four run, Natty run, all that good stuff. Obviously, I don't feel that ways in this season, but it's like this game against U of A, and you guys already chronicled all the other games, the Michigan, the Oregons. This game against U of A, it was kind of like a perfect example of the out of conference season, right? It's like that up and down. I mean, you see the potential of what they can be in that first half, and then the second half, the wheels just fall off, right? Um, but yeah, I mean, when you try to compare to that 2023 team, it's now that we've seen all of this out of conference, and you got enough of a taste to really compare. Uh, yeah, I can't say that it does right now. I can't say that it does right now, guys. Overhyped, maybe just a little bit. I think looking at those comparisons between those two years, uh, to me, the biggest difference is the seniority. And I know once we went to that natty that year, it was going to be very difficult to get back to that point because so much seniority. You're talking about fifth and sixth year guys. That's not to say other teams aren't doing it with young players, but to me, that's the biggest difference on this program. But anyways, I wanted to get that word out, and just kind of what do you guys think at home? What's that one word that you guys are at this point, right? Because a lot can change once you get into Mountain West play, but at this point, what's that word for you guys? Let us know in the comments for sure.
Can I ask you guys a question? Matt, you were in Vegas for the NIL tournament, right?
I was, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Fiend was as
So,
well. We were there.
so what do you see Arizona and Michigan, having seen them both live and in person? What are your thoughts on them in terms of comparable to each other, or how do you see them competing against each other, comparing to each other as a 1 and 2 team in the country?
Just stacking them 1 and 2. I mean, the size is one of the biggest things, right off the bat. I mean, basketball at the end of the day, I mean, any sport really, but
Compared to
especially
each other.
basketball, right?
Compared
Compared to each other. I mean, they
Yeah.
both have
Yeah.
size. That's what they have in
Yeah.
common, right? I mean, they have enormous size. With Arizona, I think we saw it. I mean, they absolutely destroyed us on the boards. So it's not just the height, but it was the girth, the weight of these dudes, the muscle of these dudes. Michigan has that as well. And you know, really to me is like the offensive efficiency that they ran with, you know, the plays that they would run. I mean, it was just so much more of a precision. And when you compare that to each other, I think they both have that in common as far as sets, motion, ball movement. I mean, these are all things that are like, I feel from the eye test are just far and above. That's what they have in common. Now, what they have different between each other, um, I can't really say. I haven't watched too much of either one of them. I don't follow them as much as San Diego State, right? I'm sure Fiend, he's a basketball fiend, so I'm sure maybe you can compare that a little better. I would pick Michigan above Arizona, to be honest with you, though. That's just
Yeah, for
my
sure. For
eyeball
sure.
test.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, no, I think Michigan is much better actually than Arizona. I mean, I wouldn't say much better, but they're 1 and 2, but Michigan is ahead of Arizona. I just think that the guys that they have, I think they have even more size, than Arizona has as far as length, right? And then guys who can shoot the three. And they just did a really great job of like spacing us out and then nailing their shots. And this game was just really, really odd with Arizona. I didn't realize it until I read Zigo's article about the different ball that they used. And if you remember a couple of years ago, that came up where they used like a special ball and no one was hitting, any shots. They might have used it in the tournament. I can't remember if they used it in the tournament or not. But both teams could not, hit any shots, at least in the first half, and then Arizona made some in the second half. But that was a really kind of weird. I think it actually worked in our favor, and when at halftime, it was really good seeing Austin Bolton and Carly and there, and I talked to them at halftime, and Austin like hit it right on the head. He's like, we're mucking it up, and it's like that's exactly what we needed to do.
Make it a dirty game, make it our
Dirty
style
game,
of
yeah.
grind it out game.
Right.
Yeah, that was the maybe the most frustrating part of walking away from this game, right? Because you had them on the ropes in that first half,
Yeah.
had them playing out of character. They weren't hitting their shots, and we're looking at each other like, yes, every single bucket, whether it was Bird or whether it was Heidi or Farrow, just chipping away. And obviously, with a 7-point lead at one point in time in that first half. And you get into this game because this is number one team. We, like you said, Mike, we played the 1 and the 2. Knowing that we had them out of sorts in that first half, can we get into it, guys?
Yeah.
The momentum changing episode there towards the end. Of course, Arizona had a bucket or two, and then Dutch gets the technical, and we're looking at each other like, what was that all about? You have to think an experienced coach as Dutch is like, you're going to give him the benefit of the doubt, right? I mean, you're not just going to blow whistle. Like, he had to have said something. He better have said something really, really, really bad to get a technical like that.
Or just
Was
badgered them.
Was it just the amount?
constantly.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, they said something like that referee was only the second time he's reffed a San Diego State game, and the other one was when Fisher was coach. He's usually horizontally a ref, and so I was reading the article, and he said Dutch is like, what did I say? What did I do? And Dutch is Dutch. He gets respect. He should get that. And some guys, maybe the guy was just having a bad night. He just didn't want to hear it because he said, he wouldn't even come over and talk to me. I was watching on TV, and everybody's like, what did he do? Hey, get out of here, bro. He's like, what did he do? And they're like, they couldn't figure it out. And Dutch, you could see him, obvious on TV. He was like, hey man, what's going on? And the guy just wasn't having it. So who knows? Maybe this guy just wasn't interested in hearing it, and he teed him up. You know what I mean? But I mean, that definitely changed. It was a tale of two games before and after that deck.
Yeah, and for those who weren't there, I mean, look, this was an Arizona home game. I mean, there were, I think, probably 10,000 people in the stands there, and there must have been at least 9,000 of them, or 9,500 of them were Arizona fans. I mean, it was everywhere you looked were Arizona fans, right? And so they were really frustrated in the first half, and they were really quiet up until that run towards the end of the first half. They were so pissed off. They were so pissed off they called security on me. So I mean,
Should
but
we
no,
show them? Should we show them just a little bit of what we saw there? Because this was a huge arena. Like we said, dude, it felt like a tournament game, right, Fiend? It felt like
yeah,
that,
it
like
did.
a
It
big
really did.
arena.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, we're there. We had a bunch of Aztecs fans with us, but you look around and it was like, even though we had a lot of representation out there, it was a drop in the bucket in that huge bucket that was there of Wildcat fans, and they're good fans. You got to hand it to them. They're respectful, except for that one that called security on you. Except for
Yeah.
that one. So I'd say let's maybe show them just a little something.
Go eat your dinner. I'll be down in a little bit. Take your shoes off.
Yeah, Bird. Let's go, Bird. Woo! Yeah, let's go. 50%. 50%. I'll take it. Hell's good. Hell's good. Woo! Woo! Yeah. Nothing. You know me. I'm not bold.
Aztecs lose. We almost had them in the first half.
Someone said, ratted me out and said I said something vulgar, which is absolutely untrue. Right?
Lies.
Lies. Lies. Hey, let's take one good half and make it two good halves.
Let's do it.
Right?
On Monday,
We're
1 o'clock.
Work in progress. Let's go.
Keep your spirits high.
Let's go.
Never bow a knee.
That's right.
We will fight till victory.
Lies, lies. Let's take one good half and make another good half. Yeah, it was a rough one. It was a rough one, surrounded by Wildcats, but you know, it's what it is. It's what it is. Fiend, you were there, you saw it. After looking at the game over again, what was the biggest difference between half one and half two in your mind? Aside from the Dutcher tech. I mean, let's be real. It was a bad tech, but it didn't change the game. That wasn't the reason why the Aztecs lost.
Yeah, the biggest difference was the rebounding. I mean, giving up offensive rebounds, and then obviously Arizona. The big turn in this game was when Aztecs were only down like 7. We were in it with like 12 minutes left, and then they hit 3 threes in a row, and we were cooked at that point. I mean, we talked about the crowd. The crowd was just on, just engulfed that entire arena. You can't give up big runs to Arizona when you're basically playing a road venue, and that's what we did. And we just, at that point, I just thought it was done. Like there was no way we were coming back. And then we were down 15 at that point, so, or 16 or whatever.
Awaka. They said his name was Toby, but it's Tobey or something like that. Tobey Awaka. 15 boards. He had 9 points. They had like 5 other players that scored in double digits, and he was scratched on the surface with 9 points, 15 boards. Of course, their huge guy Krivas had 13 boards. So yeah, man. I mean, when you're getting second and third chance opportunities off of missed free throws, they weren't hitting their free throws that great, and that was definitely those rebounds they were getting was just rough, absolutely rough. And guys, we'll get into the comments in just a few. We're definitely just spilling our guts just a little bit.
We got. I mean, we get.
Yeah.
We got out rebounded 52-28, 20-10 offensive. Like I just watched that. I watched that, and the Waka was amazing. I mean, he's had a great game, right? He just looked like he could tell where the ball was going. He was always in the right place at the right time. And at some point, you don't get lucky bounces like that many times. You just have like a high IQ, whatever, like just a kind of a Zen moment. Like you kind of know where it's going to go, right? And it looked like he kind of had an idea where it's going. Now, obviously, he's a physical specimen, right? But
Right.
that it's not like they shot lights out. They shot 38%. You hold the number one team in the country to 38%. That's a big. I mean, let's look at the positive.
Pretty damn good. Yeah, that's pretty damn
great.
good. Yeah,
That's
for sure.
6 of 25 from three. They're not really a 3-point shooting team. They make six a game, 6.4. So they made their thing. 18 of 27 free throws, 67%. Like everything on here looks like okay. They had 11 turnovers. We only had 8. We had 9 points off the turnovers. They only had 2. It's that rebounding. That's that one. And
It's shooting.
it
Shooting
harkens back to kind of like last year. The rebounding is obviously the shooting is right, but like the rebounding, it's not like they shot great. They just had so many more chances to get that second.
They
and
do
third
this
and
to
fourth
everyone.
shot, you know.
They do this to everyone. Like they outright rebound everyone. And so, yeah, I mean, if we had, there was no way, even on our best day, like we're not beating them on the rebounding margin, right? But you just have to make it less, right? And that's putting a body on a body and making them go over you, and hopefully foul you. And so, that just comes down to technique. There's guys on the team who are good at it. There's other guys who are not on our team. I'm not going to call people out, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done in that area of identifying, not just looking at the ball, but finding guys to box out. That's how you get rebounds, is you box out the other team. And that takes technique, that takes timing, that takes a lot of defensive rebounding skill. It's a skill. And so I got a lot to work on in that area.
Yeah. And the main thing, and let's just call it what it is. If you have Reese, Miles, and Magoon going, let's see, 2 of 7, 2 of 10, 1 of 6. So that's 4 or 5, 5 of 23. You're not going to win many ball games. Those are your three horsemen, right?
It's happening a lot too.
Yeah, it is happening a lot. And you have Miles and Magoon who went, Miles went deep in the NBA process, and Magoon is what he is. And I think still Magoon is coming back, from that. And Reese hasn't played in a year. So it's like, I expect them to, a switch is going to flip here for those guys at some point. But to have all three not produce, you're not going to win many ball games when you have the offensive, the preseason player of the year. Reese is the first team all conference, right? I'm assuming Magoon is too. So like that's the big bugaboo, is those guys need to get going for this team to be, because BJ is BJ, right? You can't rely on him every single game. This is the first game in a few where he hasn't had double digits, but I like him off the bench. I like that spark off the bench, and so it's like you get the whole, we're going to start him. Okay, well, who's going to be the spark off the bench? And we've talked about that. But if your top 3 guys, 3-year starters, just aren't producing, it's going to be tough to win ball games and rely on all that stuff. We have the 7th highest scoring bench in the country, which is pretty neat.
The second unit, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
You're good. Go ahead.
This is my frustration. This is my frustration with this team. The second unit, if you look at the metrics, and we subscribe to CBB analytics, so we see all of them. We see the lineups, who's good on the floor, who's not good on the floor, who's, does the team play better when someone is off the floor? And that second unit has outplayed that first unit all damn year long so far. And it's frustrating because they don't get enough minutes. Those, in my opinion, those guys should be starting. They deserve to start. If you look at the metrics, they are so much better when they are on the floor together than when our starting 5 are on the floor. And the stats don't lie. And so what kind of reward system are we setting up here? Are we rewarding guys that play terrible to give them more minutes? Or are we going to reward the guys who actually go out on the floor, play team basketball, share the basketball, and play much better and efficiently as a group?
I think that
That's my hang up with that.
Yeah, no, we spoke a lot about it this weekend, and it's been a bit of the talk that we've had as far as lineups changes. But now that we have this full out of conference season over with, you have everything you need there to see who's excelling, who's playing together, what are the right packages together, and it seems to be that's still an issue. I know you got some charts here, Fiend. We're going to bring that up. You brought up a good point though, as far as Arizona kind of circling back. They're rebounding. That's what they do to every team, right? They're consistent. They've shown that this team this year, that's what they've consistently done is beat people to death on the boards. Well, the inverse is also true with San Diego State. What have they done consistently, or what have they not done consistently? And those are the things that the numbers are going to show you. The eyeball test will show you these things, but when you see it, what do they say? Stats. Stats don't just say; it screams out. Stats scream out what is going on. Now, there's more to it. I get it, and that just kind of depends on what do the coaches. What are they trying to get done offensively? And are the guys doing it? Are they not doing it? I don't know.
It's not just on offense. It's
not just on offense
too.
Right. Yeah. So do you want to show some of those images that you requested, Fiend, or is that something you just
go ahead, put them up there?
Let's see. I'm not sure exactly which one you wanted to see first. Is that about right?
Yeah. So this one is. Let's see here.
Or the next
this is fine. This is fine. So this is one where there's a 3-player combination, and you look at this is for a full season, and it's based on the net rating is the offensive rating minus the defensive rating. You want a high offensive rating, you want a low defensive rating. That difference is the net rating, right? And then there's plus minus. That means when they were on the floor, was the team in scoring, were they a plus or were they a minus? And what you see here is when all three of Guath, Bird, and Reese Dixon Waters are on the floor together, right? And these are our 3 stars. We are a minus 1.9 net rating, and we are a minus 3 on the floor when they're on the floor, and that's in 89 minutes. So those 3 guys, they have some of the most minutes among them, that they played. And then when you look at when the 3 players are off the floor, 58 minutes of being off the floor, the team is plus 23, and their net rating jumps to plus 23.8. And when specifically Bird and Dixon Waters are off the floor, the net rating jumps to 61.3. So you can see, like, they're not producing when they're on the floor. It's actually like it's kind of hurting the team. And I get it. They've been hurt. They've been sick, like Reese is coming back from an injury. Guath is coming back from an injury. I get it, but at some point, if I'm Dutcher, I got to look at this like, who are the guys that are producing the most and giving us the best shot to win games, and this is telling part of the story. Now, if you want to flip to the other one, we'll show the other one.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some people who might be a little surprised I'm seeing in a chat, right? Everybody's got their opinions on who should get these minutes. It's what we talked about, right?
So
everybody's going to have their idea of who should be starting 5.
So let's look at these 3 players. So for the season, when BJ Davis, Sean Newman, and Farrell Compton are on the floor, they have a plus 48.1 net rating, and their plus minus together is 45. So, like, they're playing really well together. They're very efficient. They do get 56 minutes. That's good, so that they are getting a lot of minutes on the floor. They're ultra productive, and you'd like to see more of that lineup combination on the floor. And if you look down where it says that they're off the court, the team is a minus 12. And a minus 7.6 net rating. So you can see the correlation there between the guys who are producing when they're on the floor and the guys who aren't. And one of our best, from an efficiency standpoint, one of our best lineups is that second unit with BJ Davis, Newman, DeGorville, Compton, and Odin, and they're not going to get as many minutes as the starters. And so this was eye opening to see. Not surprised though, because we've seen them come in and give a major spark to the team when they've been in the game.
Mike, should I do the honors?
Nerd.
I am.
One more time.
I am.
You know what's funny? Let me interject. So full disclosure, I was watching a Netflix a movie about like a rom-com. I'm a huge rom-com guy,
Rom-com,
right?
yes.
Big fan. So I'm watching the game Saturday with my wife, or the thing at like 7. I'm like, yeah, let's start a movie, and it's like 7:27. I'm like, oh shit, the game's on. I completely forgot about the game. I'm like, it was a good movie, by the way. I loved it. So I'm sitting there watching it. She was not thrilled with it, right? And so we're sitting there, and all of a sudden the whistle. This is to circle back. I wanted to throw this in, and I go, babe, do you hear that? She's like, oh no, I know who that is. And I'm like, it's so loud. It's so loud. It was so funny. I just thought that was funny. I just thought about it now, but yeah, it was funny. Like, it's everybody just, that whistle is like I'm honed into it now. Whatever game, and it was so loud. But
I got so many text messages, dude. I can hear the whistle on TV. I can hear it.
But like
the Fiend whistle,
it pissed a lot of Arizona fans off.
Yeah, and I hope I'll give it back to you right now, Mike. But I hope people understand that, right? Because we're all always gonna be fans, right? The biggest fan over here in the arena, and he's making all this whistling noises. But that doesn't stop us from, okay, let's be realistic. Let's look at the stats. Let's look at the charts. Let's look at what's going on a little deeper, and make your own opinion.
Yeah, I mean, stats and facts trump feelings, right? So like you
Trump
look at
whistles.
it, I knew about BJ, right? But I was a little surprised to see BJ, Sean, and Farrell with the highest thing there. I looked at Farrell, and he's had some foul trouble this year, right? Let's just be honest. So I was a little surprised by that. But the numbers are the numbers; they don't lie. Like like the eye in the sky doesn't lie, right? Like the football guys say. So that isn't. It's one of those things where you could feel however you want about a team, but when you start looking at the numbers, you got to look and say, well, shit, this is like a lineup that makes sense. We need to look at this more often and see and play this more. Personally, like I think we have too many guys. I think we have too many mouths to feed.
I got a point about that.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're right. We probably do. But here's the thing. Okay. And I don't think Dutch wants to play 11 guys. Right. And if it was 3 guys on the second unit who were not playing well, who were not producing, it's easy to justify cutting their minutes. Right. And just going to an 8-man rotation. But when your top 3 players coming into the year are 3 of your worst players at this point, like through the season, I mean, and have some of the worst lineups, like, how can he's not going to bench them. He's got to play everyone. He's got to play 11 players, because those are the guys that he would put on the bench are the ones who are producing.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also something to be said that those are your guys. You got to coach them up.
Yeah.
So you're going to give them ample opportunity to get out there and show it on the court. I like what T-Mac is saying. What's going on, T-Mac? And, he's talking about the scheduling process, right? I mean, you're expecting to get better. This new influx of 11 guys that are getting playing time, right? And you got 3 games in 21 days. You got games every week. I mean, it's just such a tough situation to really get out there on the court and prove it. Practice is one thing. We heard Dutch, really talking about it. We're frustrated. We're tired of practicing against each other. I'm kind of tired of, telling them and instructing them and hearing and all this stuff, right? You want to get out there and play. So, I mean, that you add that wrinkle into it where these are new players. They got to get, on the same vibe. They got to get on the same flow on the court. No doubt off the court, it's all good. But on the court, it's a different story. There's only one ball and 5 guys could play at one time. And that was honestly, I think my biggest fear coming in here was just that's going to be Dutch's biggest challenge. And so far it's proven it right.
Yeah. I'm reading T-Mac's chat. Thank you very much for the super there. When they run the conference, I will play back this episode. the coach has responsibility. If everyone is so mad, lobby to get Dutch fired, or just accept the good and bad. Don't only support wins. I don't want Dutch fired. Like I'm
No,
not
not at all.
lobbying
Not
for
at all.
anything like that. I mean,
No.
I'm just frustrated with the lineups that we have on the floor, and it's a big reason why we've taken 4 losses, when maybe we should have only had 2, and had a pretty solid non-conference resume going into conference season. There's still a lot of time to change things around, and for those 3 guys to really get back on track. And the other thing is, Dutch is a player's coach, man. If these players were playing, I think, for Tommy Lloyd, like in Arizona, they'd been benched, right? They weren't not producing, they've been benched. Dutch is going to ride with his guys, and he's a players-led, the player-led team. He's going to let them figure it out and figure out that, like, me taking, fadeaway shots with 18 seconds on the shot clock that are contested are not good shots, and they're not helping my team, right? And I need to be more unselfish and play for my teammates and work the ball around and get good shots and play good team basketball. That's what the second unit is doing right now, and maybe those guys will figure it out, and that's what Dutch is allowing them to work through. That's what I believe.
Got anything on that, Mike?
Well, I love Dutch. Like, I don't like everybody's like, oh, he's the, like, come on, man, calm down, right? Let's relax, tranquilo. Dutch is our guy, right? He's, struggle breeds character, and so we're 7-4. We're a crazy double overtime game from being 8-3, right? And we're 5 minutes away from beating Baylor. So it's not as like the sky is falling as everybody thinks they are. But the potential of this team was so massive that we also go back to the unfounded craziness of fans saying we should be 10-0 and we've won by 25 fucking points every game, right? Like everybody else. So, you look at this team and we have 2 games every week until the end of the season from here on out. So now you have a schedule of consistency throughout the year for these guys to be like, hey, here we go. We know what we got. Set Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, right? One of those games. So the talent on this team is undeniable. It is tougher to get a rotation when you have more guys than, it's embarrassment of riches. Now you got to find out who's working together. And the fact that they had they had 3 games in 12 days, 14 days, that doesn't happen that often for this team. And I think that's going to be something in the future that he looks at and says, we can't do that again. We just can't do it. So 7-4, right? Is that what we're at?
7-4.
7-4. We have, I don't know, 20 something games. We're going to get our 20 wins. We're going to be up there. We're going to play well in the conference. We got San Jose State, Boise State, and then we come up here to UNR. By the way, fans up here don't like UNR. They like Nevada. And so whenever you see them, just play UNR because they get upset because apparently Nevada, they were the first school in Nevada and they had to change to UNR when Vegas came in because it was UNLV. It was a whole thing. So I just tell people, I'm like, oh, UNR are cool. Like, Nevada. But
the Rebels and the Union. The Rebels and the Union.
So you got San Jose State at San Jose State on Saturday, right? Which obviously you have a little bit of thing here. No, that's next week. Next Tuesday. So you have another week off.
San Jose State on Tuesday, the 30th. So
that's the last bye until you get to the NCAA, really, So this is an 11-game sample size. We've played the top 2 teams in the country.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else has done that. That's not like a Duke or a Kentucky or something like that. So I think we're fine. I mean, we're going to be fine, right? We're always going to be fine. We know what we got with this team. We know what we got with these coaches. I like the fact that we mucked it up, like Austin said, against Arizona. I said the same thing to my wife. I'm like, oh, this game is dirty. I'm like, this is our game. This is the first game of the season that really looked like our game, right? In terms of what San Diego State basketball is. Make it rough, make it nasty. So there is going to become a time when these guys start playing better and they start playing better together. Miles is too good. Reese is too good. Guath is too good to just kind of be in a funk for much longer. And Miles had a good game a couple of games ago. When someone's like, "Oh, Miles didn't have a good game," and he put up he stuffed the stat sheet. He's too good of a player, man. All these guys are too good of a player. Now you got to just make sure that
Can they play within the team system though? Right.
that's what we're going to find out. That's what we're going to find out. Is do you get to the point where the minutes are the minutes? And do you push because you might not get those minutes and they're going to somebody else and you don't have that leniency of, an 8 or 9-man rotation. Those extra minutes are going to those other two guys. So I like Tay. I think Tay should get more minutes. You know what I mean? But this is the first year we've had this many guys in the system that we're not used to. But at the end of the day, the air of expectation of this team was so massive that unless they were undefeated and they beat everybody at 20, I don't think anybody would be happy with anything they did.
Yeah. And look, someone put in the chat that the sky is falling. The sky is not falling for this team. Like let's put this in perspective. For the majority of this game against Arizona, we were in it, right? It was about 12 minutes left in the game where the wheels came off. But for almost, 3/4 of the game, we're right there playing with the number one team in the country in a very large venue that was filled with Arizona fans. Very tough environment.
And we shot horribly.
And we shot horribly. So there is a lot of positives that can come out of that, and there's a lot of potential. We know this team has potential, and kind of like that 2022-23 team, when we didn't see that potential being realized in the out of conference schedule, we got really frustrated, right? But they were able to put it together that last second, or February, March, they put it together. I would rather see this team do that and put it together in January, February into March than start out really hot like we did last year and then fade at the end.
As a Dutcher team usually does. Really quick, guys, before we get into more comments, gotta pimp the shop. Guys, if you like and appreciate what we do here at Sons of Montezuma, our online shop, check it out. A lot of different items, merch that you can represent your Aztec pride with. Of course, Sons of Montezuma, we've been doing this for quite some time now, so we appreciate all the support. And right now you can save 15% off using the promo code MONTY, Sons of Montezuma.com. That's where you find it. Guys, shameless plug. I have no shame.
Got to do it.
Moving forward, thank you, Mike, for taking us to San Jose State, the next Mountain West team. Now, when you look at that Mountain West, I know a lot of people are saying it's down this year, but if we don't figure it out quick, 11 players deep, if those strategies, if the starting fives shake up, whatever it may be, whatever Dutch and company are really working and grinding at to get this thing turned around. This is gonna be a tough road. Utah State somehow, some way are 10-1, and I don't care who they played. To be 10-1 at this point, they're doing something right. You got New Mexico 10-2. Now we know the quality coach that New Mexico has now, and some of the players that we know locally. Nevada, okay, 9-3. I'm not going to give them any props. UNR, I'm not going to give them any props because whatever. And then you got Grand Canyon, right? So they're all ahead of San Diego State right now in the Mountain West. Maybe it is a down year, maybe it is, but it's not going to be easy. The travel, the coaching pedigree that the Mountain West generally has. And they're going to be playing once again. They're going to be playing their best performance against the Aztecs every single time in this final Mountain West season. Are we going to make the tournament, guys? Because yes, the hype was real. It's not being realized, and now they've dug themselves this hole. Right, they're out of those opportunities. You have a slip up against a San Jose State, against a Fresno State, against a Nevada. You have a slip up. Boy, those tournament hopes. Are they even existent right now? You got to go perfect Mountain West season pretty much, right, guys?
I would say you could probably lose a max of maybe 2 or 3, maybe 3. You have to finish 1 or 2 in this conference. But I would say if you lose more than like 3 games, what does that put us at? 7 losses. If you get into that territory before the tournament, and if you don't make, you don't win, cut down nets at the tournament, then you got 8 losses going into Selection Sunday that you're I don't know, and this could be a year like we had like in 2016, where we had a poor out of conference, did well in the conference, didn't win the conference championship, and we got left out. And so that could be the reality of it. And I really hope that the guys on the team understand the gravity of that. Of like, okay, you're out of mulligans. Like you have to go through the conference and dominate the conference if you want to get an at-large bid, or you're going to have to go win the tournament in March, which is not easy to do.
What do you think, Mike? Everything coming down to the tournament in your eyes, or is it just hey, one game at a time, just keep stacking wins and do what you do?
Tomorrow's worries take away today's joys. You can't do anything about March. The only thing you can do is enjoy your Christmas with your family, hang out, have fun, go up to San Jose State, get back, put that work in, get that W, enjoy New Year's, beat Boise, and then you're 3-0 in conference. And then then you got come up to here to University of Nevada, Reno, which I'll be back from my trip for that game, and I'll be there. So, let's go 2-0 in conference. It's a 1-game season from here on out. Like if you start worrying about what we have to do, it's like a girl dating a guy on the first date and saying, "Oh, I think I'm going to marry him," and say, "Like, no, you don't know nothing about that guy, dude. Like, you don't know nothing. Let's just worry about that first date and have fun and see what happens, and then you go from there." But
slow. Let's take it slow. Just maybe hold hands a little bit.
Because you have a lot of. I think. I mean, you have 2 teams that are 10 wins, and you have 3 others with 9 in our conference.
Yeah.
So I don't care what anybody says. You got guys with almost 10 wins a third of the way of the season. These are some good teams. They're putting good, and they're going to come after us saying, "Hey, San Diego State is picked to have the best team. They're going to win it all. They have the conference player of the year, blah, 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 blah." Well, we're going to show you that we're just as good as them, if not better. So we're always have the mark on our back. This is going to be an even tougher test for these guys. And I think they're up to it, man. Like, play hard, play together, play to win, go out and beat San Jose State, get to 2-0, and then go from there. Like, don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about anything else. I mean, school, obviously, worry about school. But
okay, putting March aside, what is the one area that you feel strongest that they do need to turn around in order to do that of what you're saying, to build that confidence, to start stacking these wins and just game by game? March will worry about itself, but come San Jose State, come Boise State, these next couple games that are in the next, week and a half or so into the new year, what's that thing you feel strongly they need to turn around? In your opinion, no wrong answer.
Me?
Yes.
I just think they need to play good fundamental basketball.
Fundamentals.
Yeah, I mean, the shooting
from
is
not trying to do too much.
Don't try and do too much. Don't try and do, just play the game that play. And I think this year we've played other people's games more than we've played our own game.
Agreed.
So play our game. Reese is going to get his. Miles is going to get his. We obviously BJ is playing fantastic this year. Guath is going to figure it out here soon. I think, once he gets that who knows how that is with him and his knee and stuff like that. We saw it. He first came out against Troy. He had all those points, and then he's kind of like, we don't know what's going on with that. He's still getting healthy. But
he got 4 blocks against Arizona.
Yeah,
we didn't bring that up, man. I mean that's big time against a big program. We need that rim protection.
Just play hard, fundamental basketball. You know what, dude? Have fun. Have fun. Go out and play together and have fun. It's a stupid game, dude. It's a stupid game, right? So go out and
How
have
dare
fun.
you?
And just, like Reese said, and this is why I love Reese, dude. You know what I mean? Like he says, to me, basketball is fun. You know, I don't necessarily have like worry about it, or I don't know how he phrased it, but he's just like, it's not like I'm worrying about putting food on my table. That's a whole different beast, right? And that's a great perspective just on life of like it's a game, man. There's people out there who have nothing, people who are
Yeah.
worried about how they're going to feed their kids tomorrow. Like that's the most important thing in the world is that stuff. This is just a game. So these guys to have that, I think that's part of the mentality of these players, and they go out and do the food drives and the walks and all that stuff. The heart of a champion is more than just basketball.
It's
You know,
humbling, yeah.
yeah, and these guys are good kids and good human beings that just if you did you could tell if a guy doesn't want to be somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
can just
yeah.
tell, and they all seem like they love being together and going to these events and doing for the community, because what they do in the community is going to last a heck of a lot longer in someone's life than just the game. Because so I bet you some of those people that they help don't even watch the games.
Yeah.
You know,
And I saw online, this is so funny. Someone said that Reese needs a puppy. Remember, remember
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Bradley got that
Like,
puppy like when he was not doing well, you know, and he was
hey,
struggling and he turned it around. So someone
man's
said,
best friend.
get him a puppy, you know, and everything will work itself out.
what about
All
you, Fiend?
dogs go.
What's the same question to Fiend about? What do you?
Well, I mean, I agree with you. I think it's a lot of fundamental basketball and just really buying into a team first mentality, right? And trying to set your teammates up, make good decisions with the basketball, take good shots. Don't take shots with 20 seconds, 25 seconds on the shot clock when it's contested. You need that when it's under 5, and you don't have time to set a pick. And you got to make a play, right? That's when you take that shot. And so things like that, and and just keep playing, play team basketball. I think is the most important thing, and and rebounding is the other one. Got to fix the rebounding. We got to get much better at it. We got to improve our technique.
I agree on the rebounding. I think that was my kind of biggest thing coming into the season. But at this point, I feel, and I'll agree with our guy, the real Simpkins, in there is he says stop taking jump shots. Period. That's not realistic. But you got to take better shots. I think the shot selection. I know, Fiend, we've
Off
talked about this.
twos. No.
Shot selection. I mean, it's got to be more in the paint. It's got to be to the paint. It's got to be around the paint. I mean, you look at Farrell's field goal percentage, right? I mean, it's astronomical for a reason because you're just taking it in there and he's finishing, on these dunks and great passes. Easier said than done, but just as a whole, the whole team, it's got to be more of a focused mindset of, okay, these are the shots you take, because like what we saw against Arizona and a lot of these other bad losses that we saw, just the shot selection starts to fall apart, and then it's just a cycle and it snowballs. And I think that in turn will affect the rebounding. If you take better shots, that ball's going to come off the rim just a little better. Your teammates will be, I think, a little more enthused to hunt after a rebound, knowing
Well,
that
they're
you're
ready
playing within.
too. They're
Knowing
ready.
that you're playing within an offense, you guys are
Yeah.
ready, like you're saying. I mean, you're playing in motion, in rhythm. It's not just, okay, this is a desperation shot, or this, hey, I'm just going to shoot it because it's an easy shot, rather than work the offense, work the ball, run some sets. That's my number one biggest thing: shot selection. So,
Yeah. Take it
we
to
all
the
got our
rack.
takes.
Take it to the rack. If you look at the number of free throws that BJ Davis has shot among the guards, he's constantly taking it to the rack and getting fouled, and he's not the biggest guy, right? But he's fearless in there, and he's challenging them and he's getting rewarded for it, and he hits free throws. Our guards, man, work the ball around. I want to see them work the ball around, pump fake, drive, kick, pump fake, drive, kick, and then defense is out of position and you got a lane to the basket and one of your big seals off and you got a layup, or you go up and you're challenging at the rim and getting fouled like that. That's how you win ball games, is like making the pass, the extra pass, and getting the defense out of position and getting a better shot. So.
Well, we all have our own ideas, right? We all have our own takes. We want to thank you guys for being here on this live stream. It's going to take a lot of discipline for this team to win the Mountain West in the final season. Playing in the Mountain West is going to take a lot of discipline. But I feel good. I'm going to be honest with you. I think playing Arizona, number one team, man. I mean, it's never going to be easy. It's never going to be at this point in time. I think it wasn't going to be a good way to end conference play, unfortunately. But I came away encouraged. I'll be honest with you guys. I came away a little more encouraged than I was after Michigan. That's for sure.
Look, number 12 Alabama lost to them in Birmingham by 12, right? Number 20 Auburn lost to them in McHale Center in Tucson by like 28 or 29. Okay, so we're right there. We can compete with the teams that are like 10 through like 25. I soundly believe that we can compete with those teams. It's just those teams at the top that, you know, they're just so far above everyone else. And so, you know, let's go out there and let's run this Mountain West, man. We have the talent to do it. We just need to put it together.
The tough part moving forward, right? You hope that this team can stay together as that 23 team did, to where you get to where they're upperclassmen. They've played together, that continuity, that unification of styles, and everybody playing for each other. And realistically, that's what it's going to take for a San Diego State program to get back to where they were in 23.
Yeah.
Can that happen? I'm not so sure. But as long as they're improving this year, give themselves an opportunity to keep growing, keep taking this program to a higher point. Mike, any last words of wisdom? You kind of got on your soapbox today a little bit, but it's all good. Anything last you want to add before you say sayonara?
No, I like. Hey, man, you know, it's been an interesting first 11 games. You know, we've seen some growth, we've seen some interesting things, we've seen some of the best teams in the country and stuff. So it's, you know, progress, not perfection. Get better. You know, get better every year. We had a great run last year. We beat Houston in the NL. So, you know, it kind of goes back and forth, and we're in the NIL for a couple of years, and you know, just keep getting better. But at the end of the day, enjoy your Christmas. Enjoy your Christmas. We're glad that we're blessed that we have all these guys and people in the chat and going back and forth. And, you know, I never big time anybody in Reno, so I don't know what that's all about. But like, enjoy it, man. You know, this is a time for family and friends and hanging out and the new year, and end this year strong and have fun. And, you know, we're all family and we all get to hang out, and like, this is what it's all about. Just hanging out, watching ball, talking hoops, watching our guys get better, you know, and just hanging out with you guys. I mean, I won't see you until after the UNR game, the 6th. So, you know, this is my last one for the year. So thank you for having me. Enjoy it.
Yes, sir.
And, you know, I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. I'm sure I'll text here and there from where I'm at, but, you know, it'll be fun to be somewhere else for New Year's. You know, it is going to be exciting.
Yeah, and yeah, we'll miss you, man. It's gonna be a really fun trip, dude, going over there across the pond. So definitely enjoy it. You know, I feel like this non-conference schedule is really gonna prepare us for the Mountain West. Like we're prepared. You can't play two better teams. There was a lot, you know, that we could learn from those games, and you know, the losses may be more valuable than a win against, you know, an easy opponent, right? So I think we're well prepared, and you know, the sky is not falling. We have a good team. We hung with Arizona for most of that game, and that gives me a lot of hope and optimism about this team that we can turn around here in Mountain West play.
Guys, I asked you guys one word coming into this episode, and I think the last word we could probably say is that this team is battle tested. That's a good good way to end that, Fiend.
Sure.
Battle tested. Looking forward to it all. Mountain West final season for the Aztecs. It's going to be a fun one, guys. Thank you for joining, everybody. We're going to cut this thing off. It's already been at the 1 hour mark officially, so appreciate all you guys being active in the chat. Of course, we're all passionate fans.
Yeah,
this thing.
Thanks for joining the chat, the stream, and all those comments in the chat. It's awesome, man. We love the activity and the interaction. So keep it coming.
Didn't talk about Whittier game, but you guys know what to do on YouTube. We have it posted. You guys can go watch it, relive all those highlights. It was an absolute beatdown, as it should have been. And we're thankful for everybody checking that out. Of course, this is Bowl week. So hopefully we'll have another episode talking some football because the New Mexico Bowl is coming up officially. And yeah, man.
Some big time
Lucky
players
Sutton.
returning too. So
Lucky Sutton coming back.
Corn
Joe
salsa
Borja.
bowl.
King Sutton.
The corn and the salsa bowl. Oh man. If we don't put one out before Christmas, everybody have a great Christmas. Stay safe, be blessed, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
Merry
everybody.
Christmas. Happy New Year. Go Aztecs.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, guys. Go Aztecs.
Happy Festivus for those of you who observe.
We celebrate.
Yes. See ya.